really, really advanced tech when it comes to taking out some of these larger bosses. So it looks like we are all set to go on this run. So without any further ado, I'm going to throw it over to BigNoNo for getting started on Yakuza Kiwami.
All right. Hello, AGDQ. I am BigNoNo, and allow me to introduce myself in traditional Yakuza fashion. Sorry for the weird setup here. I wanted to get that sign printed, but I just couldn't make it today. But yes, I'm very excited to be here and to show you this wonderful speed game, Yakuza Kiwami. And this isn't just the first time we have Yakuza Kiwami on GDQ. This is the first ever New Game Plus run for Yakuza on a GDQ. So I am very, very excited. Since we are raising money today for the Prevent Cancer Foundation, I would like to dedicate today's run to my family dog, who we lost last year to cancer, known to stream regulars as the boy. I knew the boy since he was a puppy, and he is missed every day. Okay, so just a little bit about New Game Plus. New Game Plus carries over a few things from our vanilla playthrough. It carries over upgrades, money, inventory, equipment, and one more thing that we're going to talk about a bit later during the run. Before I start, I just want to caution everyone, a bit of a photosensitivity warning. There are 2 fights over the course of this run that may end in a very bright flash. I will point them out when they begin, so you have time to look away. But just, I thought it would be a good idea to let you know in advance. And yeah, I believe we can just start. So we changed the timing rules for this game a bit so that its timing doesn't start on the difficulty settings, it starts on the title screen after, but for New Game Plus, it's basically the same thing. So I will just count down to the difficulty selection from 3, and we will begin. So let's go on 3, 2, 1, Yakuza! So whenever you start a run of Yakuza Kiwami, you will always have a more leveled up Kiryu than you would have on a fresh file in Chapter 2. So if you start an 80% run, if you start on fresh file, you're more powerful, but you're not a fully leveled up Kiryu. However, on a New Game Plus run, we have all of Kiryu's abilities that we got on the vanilla playthrough, specifically a bunch of Kameki training. So among other things, I can do a very cool thing that I'm going to show here, which is some enhanced dragon combos, specifically backwards attacks, which are going to be very, very useful in this run. So I'm going to take care of this man right here, like so, and just take care of that one straggler, and we are done. I'm using currently an item called the Dojima Family Amulet, which doubles our damage in Dragon. Because we have to do these first 2 battles on Dragon, it helps a lot. So, backwards attacks are cool, but probably the one tech that you know, if you know anything about Yakuza, is the Tiger Drop. It's a very, very strong counterattack that we activate by hitting heavy attack just as an enemy is attacking us. And I am going to demonstrate it on this man right here, Hiyama. He's going to try to attack me. He will fail. Oh, sorry. Let's try again. There you go. I messed up the timing a bit on that first attack, but hey, we got to see a Tiger Drop. Now, the Tiger Drop sadly is not going to feature that much in this run. I might use it one more time. Near the end of the run. If you want to see a lot of Tiger Drops, we have the Super Bosses incentive, which still needs to be met. And in that one, we have Tiger Drops galore. So that'll be something to see.
Hey, make a mention here, by the way. With that incentive that we're trying to shoot for, we're now at $26,000. In fact, getting close to $27,000 of the $30,000 total of that, thanks to a $5,000 donation from 26 kilograms of raw bacon, saying "Go punch 'em on." Thank you.
Thank you so much. I've been blown away by the donations. The Karaoke getting mad before the run even started, that absolutely blew me away. Yeah, this entire section here getting the ring is not in the original game. So for those who don't know, Yakuza Kiwami is a remake of the first Yakuza game that came out on PS2. And it's mostly very, very faithful to the original game, but they decided to add a few story beats. Specifically this one, which shows Kiryu getting a ring that he will later give to Yumi, the woman he's in love with. And it's kind of a weird addition. Basically, it's here because if you remember, there was a very much touted feature of the PS4 where you could play some games as you were downloading them. And this whole segment was basically just padding so that you could... So it would give time for the PS4 to basically catch up with you as you were playing. So it's a bit of walking around here. I think we have time for a donation, if there are any on the docket.
Oh, we've got so many people excited for Yakuza today. But one thing I'm going to throw out there, a $10,000 donation from our friends at the Yeti, saying, "Hey all, Yeti here. We're so excited to be back at Awesome Games Done Quick 2023. We've been glued to the screen with all the amazing runs. What an incredible lineup. As always, we've got a wonderful collection of teas and more available in our collection with our profits going directly to Prevent Cancer Foundation. Be sure to visit theyeti.com and pick up your official GDQ collection tees. Hi.
Excellent. All right, so like I said, in the first two fights in this game, we have to use Dragon Style. However, the style we're actually going to use for most fights is Beast, and a bit of Rush for mobility. And on a fresh file playthrough, this right here is our tutorial for style switching. So this is the first time in the run we can actually choose a different style, which I'm going to do forthwith. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an ability called Change Up, where I will do this quick step and immediately destroy Tsuboi with an overhead bicycle attack. So if you played Kiwami casually, you may know that switching styles gives you this very slow animation. We'll see it later in the run because it's just beneficial to use it in certain situations. But in New Game Plus, we can use an ability, like I said, called Change Up, which basically allows us to quickly switch styles after a quick step. So that's what happened there, and it makes that fight blazing fast. That strat is due to Dr. T-Chops and Padkey Official. They came up with the two component parts of that strat. All right, so this continues the saga of the ring. Tsuboi there, who pickpocketed us, sold this ring to Abisupan to buy lottery tickets. So we are going to run around here and steal some money from our friend Shinji. And in the meanwhile, we can have a few more donations.
All right, well, we have ourselves $25 from Mac and me, saying GDQ always brings me so much joy. I'm so happy to donate for a great cause. So here's $25 towards the Yakuza Super Boss Showcase. I got to see more of my good crime boy, Kiryu. Speaking of which, we are now just knocking on the door of $27,000. We have until the end of this run, friends, to try to get ourselves to 30K on that. Be sure to keep on donating towards this wonderful cause and to see some big boys fight.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much for the donation. We can do a couple more.
All right. We got ourselves $25 from No Such Thing as the Spungos, saying Kiwami was my first Yakuza game. I almost quit after being absolutely wrecked by Shimano. I made the wise decision to keep at it, and Yakuza ended up becoming my all-time favorite series. Thank you very much for your donation. And a haiku from Professor Shinobi saying, a haiku, Shimano's mad dog, the dragon of Dojima. Two heroes need your help. Donation goes to the boss showcase of Yakuza. Let's not make it easy on the runner or for cancer. Good luck.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Shimano, it's so funny how we deal with Shimano in this run. I know a lot of people who've raged at the Shimano fight, and I did as well when I first played this game many, many years ago. So, yeah, get ready for a treat. Get ready for some catharsis on that one. Okay, so coming up here... Oh, right. Forgot this is a cutscene you can't skip. I should know this by now. But yes, so in Beast Style, the big reason we use it so much is not only does it just have the best DPS of all the styles, It also has very readily available charge attacks. So a charge attack in this game, we'll see it in a moment in a fight, is when Kiryu flashes for a moment in the color of the current style. So in Beast mode, it'll be an orange flash. And those are very, very strong attacks that do a lot of damage, and they also have some significance for the run that I will discuss a bit later. Other than that, we are about to run again into our friend from the first fight, Hirata. He is not very happy about the fact that we wrecked his business, and he's coming for some revenge. Also note that on any percent, we would have to do a lot of stamina management during these running sections. But again, New Game Plus picks up all of our upgrades, including our completion point upgrades. So we are at max stamina, infinite stamina, actually. Okay. So Hirata has his friend Hashiguchi here to take care of us. However, they will not succeed. I'm going to... Oh, you're being spicy, aren't you? Okay. Well, a lot of good that did you. One charge throw on Hashiguchi, and I'm not even going to dignify Hirata with a charge throw. I'm just going to throw him normally. And that ends the fight. Now, coming up here, I've mentioned Beast style and Rush style, and we've already seen Dragon. Those who've played this game will know that there's a fourth style in this game called Brawler, which we are not going to see except for this fight coming up. Because the only thing that Brawler has going for it is that its combos are really good for building up heat. And I'm going to need heat for the second phase of this prison fight. So right here, again, I'm going to utilize the change-up ability. I'm going to quick step forward and switch to Brawler. 3-hit combo. 4-hit combo. That's fine too on that guy. And 2-hit combos on the rest. This should have given us enough heat. I may have to adjust here. Okay, let's do it like that. I need to be in heat before I charge throw this boss. And now, as you're going to see, the follow-up heat move is going to do a lot of damage. So one of the properties of charge attacks in this game, and this is true for any charge attack you can use, anytime you use a charge attack, the following heat move, if you do it right after the charge attack, if you don't do any attacks in between, does double damage, which is really, really important and is a big part of the speed tech for this game for all categories. So we are going to see charge attacks a lot in this game. Now, coming up here, we are coming up on a fight that's, I think, intimidating for a lot of people wanting to pick up the any percent category of this game. So basically, the story at this point is that Kiryu was in prison for 10 years, and coming out, the game is trying to impress on us the fact that Kiryu from Chapter 1 is no longer... that we are no longer the Kiryu from Chapter 1. We are a much less powerful Kiryu. And basically, the fight against Majima is a fight we're supposed to lose. However, it is currently optimal on all categories of the run, any percent, Legend, New Game Plus, to actually defeat him. And in this category, it's very, very easy because the game doesn't roll us back or anything. We are still the fully leveled up Kiryu that we were in Chapter 1. So I'm going to dodge this man. What's he going to do? That's always a mystery with Majima. I want to bait out an attack. He is not attacking. This is weird. Okay. Now he chooses to attack. Okay. I've never seen that before. He's usually much more aggressive. But yeah, I want to be full health for that fight, because in full health we get a 50% damage buff. We are also wearing an item called the Beast Amulet, which doubles our damage in Beast style. So all those things together mean that we can just one-shot Majima with one Goemon hit move. And this is the last time we're going to see the Goemon, or indeed any melee weapon, until the very last boss. So right here, I'm going to switch to a shotgun, which is an action I'm going to perform regularly. And I'm taking down the Dojima family amulet. It gives us double damage in Dragon, and replacing it with the Beads of Good Fortune that are going to take care of fight spawns. So we will not see any fight spawns over the course of this run. Here's Street Flood Abe. He is going to try to fight us. He will not succeed because we are simply way, way too leveled up for him. And At this point, it's worth mentioning, like I said, the Beads of Good Fortune that I just equipped will take care of any regular enemy fight spawns. But if you've played Kiwami, you may know about the Majima Everywhere system, and that Majima is free to harass us wherever we go. So the last thing I didn't tell you that gets carried over on your clear data in this game is your Majima Everywhere rank, or your Majima Everywhere progression in general. So what we do is basically we level up Majima Everywhere until the point where he is stuck in one location and is basically waiting for us to challenge him. We won't do this over the course of the run. We'll do it in the Super Bosses incentive, if that gets met. And that means that Majima won't try to attack us at all. So we are basically free to roam the streets of Kamurocho without having to worry about any optional fights, meaning that there's a lot of time for extra donations. So, Shadow, why don't you hit us up with one more as I head down to Stardust?
As someone who had so much trouble with Majima in my own playthrough, that sounds marvelous. He's so terrifying most of the time. Anyway, we have ourselves quite a few donations coming in here. First things first, friends, $200,000. We're now at $202,000. Thank you for helping us cross that major threshold. That's fantastic to see. We have $50 from Goro Majima saying, I need more Kiryu-chan. Let's see here. We also have...
Right, I'm actually going to cut you off. I just want to explain, there's one final piece of gear that's important to know about in this run called the Elder Belly Warmer, which is an armor that we use. This armor gives us a damage buff per enemy we're fighting. So the bigger the group, the bigger the buff. And this also means that we, counterintuitively, we actually want to usually take care of the mini-bosses or bosses first, because then we have the biggest buff, and we can take them down the quickest. So I'm going to straight away grab this man, throw it at this guy because he's bothering me, and then I'm going to go backwards and shoot all his dudes, and we are done. And this is how a lot of the fights against weaker bosses with a bunch of goons are going to look like. All right, and we are done. Next up is the funeral set piece, and we have a bit of walking around, so Shadow, keep those donations coming in.
People keep sending them in, but please keep on going, friends. We're at $28,620 for the Super Boss Showcase. Let's keep getting those donations in, like this $100 from Nerve, saying you better watch what traffic cone you walk by because Majima is everywhere. Let's reach that Boss Showcase, and here's some more Kiryu-chan. We also have $20 from Laver saying, hey, BigNoNo, excited to watch you run, and I'm grateful for your tutorials of Yakuza Kiwami that got me into running it in the first place.
Laver is one of our best runners of this game. She is immensely talented, and I'm looking forward for her next Yakuza speedrun. Okay, so in this funeral section, there's a bit of walking around, like I said. Again, this is one of those places where Kiwami weirdly decides to flesh out a side character from the original game that you wouldn't really think needed fleshing out. So in the original Yakuza, you basically step into this funeral hall. That guy says, oh, I dropped my backstage pass. And we go back here and pick it up. And just use it to go backstage. In this game, he actually sees that we picked it up and takes it back. And then gets shouted at by his boss. And then he decides that he doesn't want to work with the Yakuza anymore, making him the first reasonable NPC, the first reasonable character in this entire series. And he just decides to give us the backstage pass so we can keep going. So that's very nice of him. Thank you. We have time for one more donation.
Sure thing. We got ourselves $100 from Anani Moose, saying the Yakuza series is my favorite karaoke video game with some dramatic story too, I guess. Ganbatte, BigNoNo.
Thank you. Yeah, my first playthrough of Yakuza 0, which was my first Yakuza game, I clocked in almost 90 hours, and I think at least half of that was just karaoke and disco. Just every session of the game, I would do some karaoke and some disco, because those minigames are just so good. Anyway, we are here to fight against the Omi Man. He represents a rival Yakuza organization. We don't care about that, because he is not long for this world. I just need to know if he's going to walk backwards or to the sides. Backwards. Oh. Still undershot that a bit, but that's good. That was kind of lucky. I kind of jumped the gun there. You wanna, if he walks backwards, you want to take a few steps forward before you try to grab him, because if you whiff the grab like that, he can actually hit you. And remember, we get a big sorry. Sorry, every time I knock Shinji down there, it just makes me laugh. It looks so goofy the way he falls down. I'm a terrible person. He's been nothing but nice to us, but yeah, I can't help myself. But yeah, anyway, that was lucky. Here is some keyboard and mouse deck. Very exciting. The game is tutorializing us on using first-person mode, and I'm going to use my mouse to, well, usually I do a bit better than this, but here we are, looking at portraits. And once I look at the last portrait, we are going to start the set piece. And it's very important at this point, we are, of course, going to shoot some people. But when you pull out your gun, you want to hold your aim button here. Otherwise, you may miss one of the guys on the right. So very important to hold the aim button. Now, there's a weird physical glitch here that may happen. I'm going to really try to get it. And blast off!
Where did it
so
go?
I could have done... No one knows. As with most good things in video games, I found that out by mistake. Technically, I could use change up here to quickly switch styles, but I think we all wanted to see the blast stuff. We all wanted to see the flying lantern. Laver, who donated earlier, she saw that once in one of my runs, and she said Lamp-kun no longer wanted to be an instrument of violence. So that's something that always makes me smile, that line. This man is a mini-boss. Mini-bosses and bosses take little to no damage from guns. So for this guy, I need to switch back to Beast and charge throw him. And that's actually something that's very lucky about this run, because if you could just shoot everyone, it would be very boring to me. Alright, so it's really important to keep track of your ammo count here, because as you can see, some of these cutscenes will unequip our shotgun and some won't. That last one did. The next one coming up will not. And this is actually important because we move faster when we don't have the shotgun equipped. So there's a bit of an ammo threshold I want to hit here to be optimal. So right here, I'm going to move at max speed. And I still have some bullets left, so I can take care of these guys right here, like so. And now I'm going to switch shotguns, because I'm going to need more ammo later. And this automatically unequips the gun, so I can keep running at max speed. Now right here, we're going to have another... why did that guy go upstairs? That's very strange. Anyway, another Majuman counter they added to this game. Please don't hit me, Majuman, I need max damage. Thank you very much. So yeah, just another addition to this game. Now, we have a lot of damage buffs I've discussed already. We have the Beast Amulet that gives us double damage in Beast style. We have our full health damage buff, so that brings it up to 3 times. But Shimano here, which, as we've mentioned, is a lot of people's nightmare in the first playthrough, he has a lot of HP. And he has a really, really nasty HP regen Kiwami. So we're gonna need some extra help. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to call on the power of anime! And I am going to simply chart throw this man, and he is done. Goodbye.
And there goes
That's
that
always-
boss fight that people are complaining about in the donations. It's just gone. It's just gone.
Just gone. On any percent, it's slightly more dignified than that because we use the chart throw and a heat move. On Legend, that fight takes a bit longer, but we still managed to skip his Kiwami. So, just for those who don't know, a Kiwami is a move that most bosses in this game have, where they basically lean over and they start glowing a light in a color that corresponds to one of our fighting styles. And you can use a special move if you're in that fighting style and you have that move to do a lot of damage and basically stop them from phase transitioning or gaining a lot of HP. We're never going to see Kiwami in this run unless I really mess it up. But we might see them. Oh, I forgot about this. Okay, that's fine. But we are going to see them in the Super Boss incentive, and actually we're going to use a Kiwami counter. So that's a bit of a tease for you for later. So we have a bit more walking around here before anything interesting comes up. So Shadow, give us 2 donations, I think.
Sounds good. We have, let's see here, $56 from Pinecone saying, I beat this game last month, had a blast with it, and am having a blast with the sequel now. Good luck with the run, BigNoNo. May your health bar stay full for those boss one-shots. Here's Gojiroku dollars for our boy Goro Majima. And we got $50 from Red and Kaizen Chaos saying, Yakuza hype. $50 to BigNoNo's Super Boss Showcase and showing Cancer the door. Thank you for your donations.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, Pime is a stream regular. Thank you very much for the donation, both of you. Okay, so coming up here, we are really going to get a lot of mileage out of our Elder Belly Warmer because we are going to fight a lot of guys. I call this the dog defense fight. These guys are trying to harass the dog. We're going to defend the dog, hence dog defense fight. And we are going to use this bike because that's actually slightly faster than using other weapons. I'm going to just throw it so I can clear my hands up for using the shotgun here. And yeah, that's it. Dog saved. However, our dog here is still not 100% okay. It needs to be fed. So luckily we have some dog food ready. However, if you've ever had a dog, you know that this is very unrealistic because you can't just give a dog food. Like that doesn't work. A dog wouldn't eat if it doesn't have water. So if you played the original Yakuza where you just needed to get dog food, the game kind of tricks you here if you brought dog food in advance. And it also requires you to get a plate and some water. It's scientific dog feeding here. A plot hole that Kiwami thankfully fills up. Luckily, we have all those items in advance, so we don't need to do any stops on the way here. We can just come straight to the dog and give him the food and the water, and it's all good. In this section right here, even on a fresh file, there are no random fights, but there are fights on the map depending on the path you choose. We thought for a really long time that you have to turn right here and eat one fight spawn, but I actually found out that if you go all the way down to the southernmost part of Kamurocho we can travel on to Showa Street, you actually avoid all fights, which doesn't save as much time as you would think because this is a big detour, but it still saves about 3-4 fights and saves us a bit of shotgun ammo, so that's cool. And yeah, we have time for more donations if you have them.
I've got plenty. Just a reminder, friends, by the way, we are at over $29,000 towards that Super Boss Showcase. We are so close. Keep those donations rolling in, like this $100 from Honey saying, wanted to send a love shout out to my best friend Sarah, who's watching her first GDQ with me. Good luck, BigNoNo, with your run, and let's beast style our way through cancer.
Thank you very much.
We also have a $10 donation from Swishy saying, I had to make sure to donate during a run from one of my favorite gaming franchises out there. Good luck on the run, BigNoNo, and keep an eye out for Majima. I hear he's everywhere.
He is. He really is. On any percent, he's a huge problem, but thankfully we don't have to deal with him here. Sorry for cutting you off. Just one thing I want to point out here. A lot of the event triggers in these games are horizontal or vertical. So you see, even though I walk on that side of the street, I get teleported here because it's a vertical event trigger. So we don't get punished for not being close to this cop for the next scene. So that's a nice little time save right there. And we have time for one more donation.
All right, we got $25 from Full Metal 824 saying, shoutouts to the most beautiful character in Yakuza, Goromi. Donation to the Super Bod fights. We want more Majima. And can we please get a Kiryu-chan from the host? That's what you get today. Till the next one.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. So we're coming up on the Haishi fight. This fight is trouble on any percent and on Legend especially. But New Game Plus, it is just another one of our standard weak boss big mob fights. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to look at this portrait of Mizuki, who can't be Yumi because she has different hair and a tattoo, and you know, people don't change their hair or get tattoos, so obviously different people. And I'm going to grab this man. I'm going to hit it towards whoever I think will give me the most trouble next. And oh, that guy got cheeky. How did I miss? Excuse me? How did that not? Okay. Sometimes I don't understand how certain enemies survive a shotgun round, but okay, that's fine. Only had to use one extra shot, so we're all good. Okay, so I believe we can have a couple more donations right here.
Sure thing. Nick Saris with $5 saying super boss. Super boss. $20 from your pal Lou saying, I would like to see the big boys fight. Yes, please. And $25 from Bargain Bin Squid saying, so excited. Majima really is everywhere, even at games done quick.
All right, so in the 80% run, this is where we do a sub-story. Of course, being 80%, you don't have to do any sub-story, any side content. But this is a sub-story that gives us an item we sell for 500,000 yen. Of course, on New Game Plus, we don't need money. All of our money gets carried over from our first playthrough. The only reason I'm telling you this is because the sub-story we do, it blocks us from going a certain path in Kamurocho. And I will need to remember to not try to walk that path because that would just be a time loss at this point. We need to go around it. And it's one of the most difficult things to get used to when you're going from 80% to New Game Plus because it's just so ingrained into your muscle memory to go do that sub-story. At any rate, coming up here, we're going to talk to the florist, who is an information dealer, and he doesn't want to be paid in money. He wants to be paid in fighting. So fighting we shall. And I'm going to use the small delay between the two times we can talk to him to open up the menu, unequip all of my stuff, because this is not a cheater's Coliseum like in Kiwami 2. You can't use any gear, any weapons. So we're going to remove all our stuff and go right in. Luckily, this still being the early game, we are very, very overpowered for these people. So these fights are going to go by very quickly. So yeah, one shard throw and Daniel Feldman is over. Another one and G Pramuk will also be done with. However, for the third boss here, Gary Buster Holmes, we need to do something extra because he has a lot of HP. And even as leveled up as we are and with all our gear, we can't one-shot him normally. So once more, guess what? I'm going to call on the power of anime. And now I will just grab this man and shard throw him, and that's that.
Gotta be so many shattered collarbones in Kamurocho, I swear.
Yeah. Kiri never killed anyone, but some of them wish for it. Okay, and very important here, actually, there's another difference with 80%. On 80%, we don't need any of our gear for the fight coming up, but in New Game Plus, I actually do want my shotguns, so I need to remember to do an equip menu here. And I'm going to equip fresh shotgun. There we go. And we are fully geared up again. So at this point, our friend Date is getting beat up by some people in the entrance to the park. So we're going to go and help him. And in the meantime, we have time for one donation.
All right. Just a reminder, friends, we are so close. We are less than $400 away from getting the Super Boss Showcase. More donations coming in like this anonymous $20 donation saying a Yakuza haiku. Run, Kiryu. Run, go fast. Majima is behind you. Let's fight together. Thank you very much.
Okay, so these guys don't do a lot of damage, but they are very aggressive. So I'm going to get away from them in rush with change-up and a couple of shots, and they are done. Very good. That was very clean. That fight can go south quickly if you give them too much space to attack you. Now, we are about to see everyone's favorite boy in just a moment. But basically the plot, the story at this point, and get used to this because it's going to happen a few times over the course of the run. Haruka got kidnapped, and we have to go rescue her. So we are headed to Blood and Cages right now. And it's actually really important to be full health for the segment coming up. So it's kind of a bummer if you get damage during that fight because you have to do an additional menu to heal, and it's kind of an annoying time loss. But yes, as promised, we have everyone's favorite. Time to stall for when he actually shows up. Goro Majima! Okay, and to be optimal here, I'm going to have to change up right into Majima's face, which is kind of scary, but hey, we made it work. These guys seem like they have ideas, so I'm going to throw it at them. Oh boy, everyone's coming in. Okay, cool. So, as you saw right there, that shard throw reduced Majima to 1 HP. The bosses in Kiwami generally don't like to admit that you've defeated them until they've showed you all of their phases. So even though we do enough damage technically to finish off Majima, we still have to get his second phase. So by chart throwing him and then quick stepping away 3 times, you get exactly enough time for him to do his phase transition, and then you can shoot him along with the rest of the enemies. Because again, guns don't do a lot of damage to bosses in this game, but they still do some damage. So if they're 1 HP, then that's good enough. And I actually had to do 4 quick steps instead of 3 because his guys were crowding me, but that's fine. That's not a big time loss. Okay, so this is kind of a weird chapter of the game. In modern Yakuza games, this would probably be... all this stuff would be relegated to sub-stories because none of it really matters for the main plot. This is more just character development for the florist and Date. But basically, yeah, Kiryu doesn't exactly know what to do next, so he's trying to get more information from the florist, and he's trying to get in his good side, so he's going to do him a favor. This is the one tutorial we can't skip in New Game Plus. This is going to teach us the move Shot Stopper, which is a counter heat move used on bosses. This being New Game Plus, we already know this, but yeah, there's no way to skip this, unfortunately, so we're just going to have to eat the tutorial. Thankfully, we do get to use Shot Stopper twice in this run, so it's not completely a wash. But yeah, this chapter, because of its very segmented nature, there's a lot of walking around, so we have a lot of time for even donations. Shadow, please go ahead.
Hey, BigNoNo, do you miss Majima yet?
Every day I don't see him.
Thankfully, you're going to see him just a little bit more today because we hit our $30,000 incentive for the Super Boss Showcase. So you are going to be in for both the Super Boss Showcase and some karaoke later on today. Did you want to mention or talk about that at all?
I think I will let that speak for itself. It's just I really recommend people stick around for the Super Boss Showcase. We get to see a lot of stuff that really doesn't figure into the main run. Also, the Super Boss Showcase, this run is on easy. The Super Boss Showcase is on legend, so I need a lot more damage and a lot more adjustments. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So basically, at this point, the florist asks us to help out his estranged son Takashi, who's being chased by some Yakuza. So we are heading to the batting cages to do just that. And yeah, we have time for more donations.
All right, we got $25 from Old Red saying, BigNo, I'm wondering if you could sneak a couple karaoke songs and tell people it's for the run. Big non-jam.
Don't worry, Old Red, we'll get that karaoke for you. Yeah, Aldred is the... So a lot of people, when they try to shorten my name, will shorten it to Big, which is kind of weird because I'm only 5'5", very, very short man here, so Big doesn't work. NoNo is the preferred nomenclature, but Aldred came up with the Galaxy Brain naming convention of just calling me BigNo, which... That's A-grade work right there. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate you very much. We have time for one more.
All right, yeah, we have $50 from Soulburn saying, break records, kill cancer. Have a great run, Kiryu-chan.
Thank you very much. Soulburn is an IRL friend. Appreciate you very much. All right, so here we're going to help Takashi's, the florist's estranged son Takashi by doing the following. I'm going to change up, and I'm going to pound him into the floor. So this will surely get us on the florist's good side. Now, this is one of the fights where I'm going to give an opposing sensitivity warning. There might be a bright flash at the end of this, so please look away if you have an issue with that. I'm going to grab this man here and perform a move I've called the Heat Swing. The Heat Swing takes care of the boss and 2 of the goons, and the rest are taken care of by a Shotgun Blast. So, Kiwami is kind of weird in that it knows how to handle when you finish a fight on a heat move, but if you finish a fight on the move after a heat move, the graphics go out of whack and you get those flashes. So there's one more fight in the run where that might happen. So just stay tuned, and I will warn you when we are coming up on that. Yeah. So at this point, Takashi and his girlfriend have been chased into this club by the Yakuza that have been following them. Sorry, the Adef family. And the way I'm going to take care of these guys is going to be slightly different. So I would like to blast away all these guys, but they're kind of concentrated in a very in kind of a narrow pattern in front of me. So I'm going to backstep. Oh, one of them survived. Oh no, how dare you! Usually that shot gets everyone, but that's fine. And we're just going to charge throw this man to finish the fight. This is one of those fights where the mini-boss has so little health that we don't actually need the Elder Belly Warmer damage buff. So we can just leave him for last, which is a bit more optimal. Also important to note about the Heat Swing that you saw earlier, the way the Heat Swing works is we grab an enemy, use that enemy to hit 2 other enemies, and then throw that enemy last. So the enemy we grab takes damage last. And you may remember, because of the Elder Belly Warmer, we want to prioritize mini-bosses to be hit first. So when you do a Heat Swing, you actually want to grab anyone but the mini-boss, because you want as much damage as possible on them. And that happens, when they get hit first. Okay, this wraps up the florist section of this chapter. We're going to transition to Date, but we still have some time before that, so Shadow, keep hitting us with those donations.
And we have a $25 donation from Drehe59 saying, more bosses, please, which we now have thanks to all of your donations, like this $250 from TMS Lift saying Super Boss Showcase, Kiryu-chan.
Very good, very good. Thank you all very much for your donations. We can keep going for a bit longer.
Heck yeah. This is $150 from King saying, hi all, I just wanted to say I love this event. As a games tester, I enjoy seeing bugs and glitches being used in this way. So much skill on display here. PCF is a charity I wholeheartedly support. My mom passed away last year after a battle with cancer. She loved games. Keep up the amazing work, everyone, working to make this event happen.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Sorry for your loss.
And $10 from Upset George saying, looking forward to the Kiwami Boss Showcase. Yakuza is an all-time great series.
Very good, very good. Okay, so coming up here, like I said, we're going to start the Date part of this chapter. Date was supposed to meet his daughter Saya in the park next to Serena, next to the pub we keep going to. But being father of the year that he is, he got drunk and fell asleep. So we have to pick up his slack, and that's what's going to happen in the next few minutes of the run. This sadly does involve some more walking around, so Shadow, please keep going.
I certainly can. Everybody's being extremely generous during this run, such as this $25 donation from Verxel, saying Yakuza's always a great time at GDQ. Put this towards making Majima's dream of an all-out Kiryu battle come true. We also have $25 from Anonymous saying, I've lost many family members to cancer, most recently last year. Thank you all for raising money for this great cause. Had to donate during my favorite game, Yakuza. We'll donate again if the runner can do their best Majima laugh.
Oh God, can I?
If you want.
That's as good as you're gonna get out of me. I'm not as good as Shadow. Shadow's an amazing voice actor, by the way. I watched his stream. He was streaming Pentiment and reading out the dialogue, and it was absolutely amazing to see.
I did not pay for this endorsement, but I thank you.
So basically, at this point, we find out that Saya's boyfriend Shota is the one dragging her down, and we are going over to this bar shellac in Champions District because we've heard that he works here. I love the Champions District. This is one of my favorite parts of Kamurocho. Absolutely. Really, just love the design, like these little cozy streets, all these small pubs. Really, really cool area. Having got it here, we find out that Shota is actually no longer working at Shellac, but he's actually working at Stardust, which is across the street from Serena, which is where we were. So the game basically just sent us on a big wild goose chase just to get us to walk around the city a bit more. The way these games were designed early on, they would do this a lot. They would just have you walk around the map, hoping that you would run into some side content you can do, just so you don't focus too much on the main game. The newer games don't do this as much, although there's still some of it, like Yakuza 0's Booze Quest in Chapter 2. But yeah, for speedrun, sadly, yes, we just had to go all the way there and back for no real reason. But we are done. Now we are going to do some fighting, finally. And this fight also breaks the mold of what I said about weak mini-bosses and their mobs, because I am going to start by shooting the goons here and then dealing with the mini-boss. The reason for this is that the mini-boss in this fight can be very... Oh, that's not good. Yeah, he can be very annoying. He's very quick and he can dodge our attacks. So generally we want to try and stagger him with a shot and then grab him. It didn't work, and one of his guys actually survived, which is kind of bad. But it's all good. We still took care of them just fine. That fight can go a lot worse. That guy can quick step again and again and again, and it can be very frustrating. Okay, and finally we're on our way to Shota, the culprit himself, to teach him not to be such a bad man, I guess. But we have time for one more donation, Shadow.
Let's see here. We have $25 from Darky Andreas saying, more Yakuza, more Sega, more AGDQ. Thank you for your $25.
Hell yes. All right. So in this fight, I do want to charge throw Shota first because I do need the Elder Belly Warmer buff from his dudes. Especially if you're full health, you can try and be greedy here and do without that, but you're still going to probably going to get hit by someone in this fight, so this is a lot safer. Oh, aren't you going past your pay grade? It's always, when you do these charge throws, you always want to see which enemy is the most likely to cause issues and hit them. However, sometimes multiple enemies want to cause issues. That's the nature of Kiwami, so you gotta be a bit more evasive some of the time. Now, this chapter starts out weirdly with Kiryu deciding to visit his tattoo artist, and I'm not quite sure why, but it does lead to us setting a date with Nishiki later in chapter. This is going to be at the end of the chapter at night. That's where we're going to be meeting Nishiki. I'm going to use this taxi, both because it's slightly faster, and also at this point, if I try to go down Showa Street around the middle, there's a sub-story, so we skip it this way. And yeah, we are going to have a bit more walking around. So Shadow, give us 3 donations, I think we'll do.
Can do 3. Let's see here. We have $50 from Yarts saying, so stoked to see you get to show off a Yakuza game, Nono. Congrats. $50 from Final Gamer James saying, here's some cash to buy a new move. Let's beat cancer with a tiger drop. And wait, this is Kiwami, not Yakuza 0. Just use it for pocket racing, I guess. Good luck at Kamurocho. And $25 from Lana saying, hi, everyone. Hope you have a great time because I do. Let's break the record and Majima this year again.
Yes, thank you very much for all your donations. So at this point in the game, and let me know if this sounds familiar to you, Haruka got kidnapped. Yes,
what?
Again. Yeah.
Can't believe this.
This never happens. So we are going to go around Kamurocho and try to find out where she went. So first of all, I haven't even gotten a chance to talk about these characters and how useless they are. This game makes a big deal of Aoki and Tamura, who are two information dealers, and it really, really tries to make you think that these people are somehow inherent to the plot. Anytime you need to, the game needs an additional objective marker, it just sends us to one of them. So here he is. This is Aoki, I believe. I don't even give them the dignity of remembering their names most of the time. But yeah, Aoki just tells us that Haruka was seen at Club Sega. And yeah, I could have told you if you're looking for a kid to go look at Club Sega. So again, completely useless character. Ooh, I got the bad camera transition. That's unfortunate. And yeah, now we're just... basically, when we went to the Club Sega, we listened to those two girls, and they were saying that Haruka was seen at the parking lot on Shichifuku Street. So we are headed there right now. And this is a bit of a long walk, so we have time for one donation.
Can do. We got $40 from Expo Dragon saying, I've been following these marathons for 5 years now. Checked out AGDQ 2018 and fell in love since. It's amazing how far it has come since. Donation goes to the Yakuza Kiwami Super Boss Showcase as a longtime fan of the series, which once again we have now cleared. And the next major incentive we've got going on, by the way, friends, is a portal run, which I've seen only as airboat percent, which I'm very curious about. That is at $80,000, so keep on hitting up those donations, friends, and we love to see them here on the air.
Hell yeah, I'm not familiar with that category, but portal runs are very, very good. That NPC in the parking lot, by the way, is the best NPC in the series because you ask him if he's seen Haruka, he demands that you give him some booze, you threaten him, he asks for booze again, then you threaten him again, and he says, oh yeah, little girl, I saw her in a park, but I don't remember. And the game tries to fool us into thinking you have to go into those other two parks that you see on the map with the arrows. Before you can head here. But no, you can just head down here and immediately trigger the next section of the game. And for some reason, it took us literally years to figure this out and save like 10 seconds for the run. So very embarrassing. Now, again, a pretty standard fight here. The twist is that a lot of these guys have guns, and guns are bad. You do not want to get shot. Big tip from me. Because shots not only hurt, but they also stun you in this game. So you kind of need to look at the enemies and see if anyone's going to shoot you. Try to use your iframes to not get stunned. Luckily, they were being very, very passive, so we could take care of all of them very quickly. Now, at this point in the game, Haruka has been kidnapped twice, and our friend Date here makes a very salient point that, you know, Haruka, she's probably very distressed. She could use some levity. So why don't you take her around the town, just show her a good time, just take her mind off things. But as we try to leave West Park, Mogosa here tells us about an illegal gambling house, and Kiryu just immediately decides that this is the best place to take a traumatized 10-year-old to. So that's where we're headed next. Yeah, very, very good fodder figures all over this game. We have time for 2 donations.
Make it sound so weird, but that's what my dad and I did every weekend. Agnese with $50 saying, I want to see as much Yakuza as I can. Let's get that Super Boss Showcase. Thank you very much for contributing towards that. And $25 from Little Baby Gator saying, Kiryu-chan.
Very good, very good. Thanks everyone for the donations. So coming up here, this is kind of a weird sequence, especially in Kiwami on PC. So in the original game and in console versions of this game, you will never lose a bet in this gambling sequence on the first phase, before the cutscenes coming up. And the reason for that is that the game makes some weird deal out of Haruka supposedly being able to predict the result of gambling games. I don't understand. They never explain this. It never gets picked up later in the series. It's just a very, very weird plot point. But the point is, we are supposed to win all of these gambles up until the cutscenes, and then we lose once. At which point, Kiryu is going to blame the dealer of cheating, and we see during the cutscenes that he actually does cheat. So the accusation is correct. However, on PC, for some strange reason, apparently there's some problem with the RNG seed that they used, and for some reason you can sometimes lose even before the cutscenes, so the entire thing makes no sense. So if you play this on PC first and you were confused here, you have a good reason to. When Haruka narrows her eyes like that, that means we lost the bet. Sadly, this entire sequence is completely unskippable, which makes coming up with strats for the fights after this very annoying because you have to go through the entire gambling sequence every time you want to try a new strat. Alright, and here comes the part I was talking about. This guy goes away, comes back, and he doesn't, weirdly enough, he doesn't use loaded dice or anything like that. The dice he's using just has a very weird mechanism that like pushes them over to one of the other sides. It's basically the least good way of cheating at dice that you could think of, but there you go. This is potentially a very dangerous fight. I need to be able to grab this man and heat swing him before anything else happens. Oh, no. Okay, we have a backup. Did it work? It didn't. Okay, that's a shame. So I'm going to have to grab this man and charge throw him. Grab this man and charge throw him. And he still survived. Okay. We did enough damage, but how did... Can you come out here?
You saw what you did to everybody else. He's going to hide out there.
I mean, it's totally understandable. It's just one of those, and take out your GDQ bingo cards. This has never happened before. So ideally, the heat swing takes out both of the mini-bosses. That can happen sometimes, that they go out of position and you only get one of them, and then you just charge throw the other one. It's fine. It's not too bad. But the big problem is that the other goons have time to spread around the arena. And yeah, that's the first time I've seen one of them actually go to the rafters like that. I mean, good play, good play. He didn't have anything better he could have done, to be honest. But yeah, finally it's night, and it is time for our meeting with Nishiki. So we have to first drop Haruka off at West Park, and then go back. So we have time for a few donations.
And a few donations we have, like this $50 from Eat All of the Eggs, saying, "It's a me, Majima. Super Boss Showcase, let's-a go." We also have $50 from Jane, saying, and I apologize in advance, Munancho to all my Kyodais out there. I'd be a fool not to donate to the Kiwami Super Boss Showcase. Majima everywhere, cancer nowhere.
Absolutely.
And $100 from Goto Majima saying, "Kitty-chan!"
Very nice, very nice. Thank you all for your donations. So here we have a lot of cutscenes to skip, and I haven't mentioned cutscene skips yet. I'll talk about them more later in the run, possibly. It's a very technical thing. But yeah, so up here we're going to have just a bunch of regular enemies, so we're going to take care of them with the shotgun as per usual. I was running out of ammo, so I did a cheeky menu on the way here. Sometimes those guys line up and you can take them all out in one shot, but that didn't happen. Shindo here can be a big problem. First of all, if someone body blocks Shindo, that's a huge problem because I need to be able to grab this man. But also, we will not quite take him out with our charge throw. So we need to finish him up. Oh, that was really good. So he's left with a little bit of health, just enough to get taken out with one shotgun round. But yeah, that was really good, actually. That's very rare that you take out everyone in that fight with just the one round. Very, very good. Okay, so at this point, Nishiki told us to accede to his demands or suffer the consequences, and we are about to suffer them because I am about to go out here and taxi to West Park. I'm going to move Kiryu during this little cutscene because I have nothing better to do. There you go, enjoy that. And during these cutscenes, we find out that, and you're not going to believe this, Haruka got kidnapped again.
Come on.
I know, right? They really go to that well a lot during this in the series, and especially in this game. But yeah, this time we don't actually know who has her, so we are going to take a quick tour of the gangs of Kamurocho and see who knows what. Coming up first will be the Blue Gang, And the blue gang is not much to talk about, but you want to check out the neon sign up here, the checkered one. If you move too close to that neon sign, your run is dead, because that's a sub-story trigger, and that sub-story starts with an unskippable minute-and-a-half long cutscene. So, yeah, many early Kiwami runs have been lost to that sub-story. All right, so I want to quickly switch styles here and grab this man, and I'm going to hit him towards golf club guy because he just tends to be a bit more aggro than baseball bat guy. And that's the end of the blue gang. And they basically say they don't know anything, they're low on the rung of the criminal underworld, and we should go ask someone else. And they're pointing us towards the white gang, which gives us another excuse to visit the champion district, everyone's favorite. So on the way there, Shadow, how about a few more donations?
How about another haiku, this time from Msushi Elemental, who donated $20, saying, "Fight like a dragon. My style will defeat your style. Just use the shotgun." And $25 from Miggy saying, "Big Yakuza and Sega fan from Austria here. So glad to see Kiwami as part of GDQ. All the best to BigNoNo. Remember, life is like a trampoline. The lower you fall, the higher you'll go. Yakuza hype!"
Thank you very much. By the way, that street that I used to go here also has a sub-story on it. But the trigger is right in the middle, so we stick to the side just to avoid that sub-story. As far as shotguns go, you actually don't want to use them on Majima because, again, any boss takes very little damage from shotguns, so we're going to have to come up with something a bit better than that. Yuji Shiraki here goes down quickly to a charge throw. These guys, however, have been giving me a lot of trouble recently. Almost got hit, but we made it out just in time. On an 80% run, this is the part where we're finally getting all of our strong weapons for the late game. All the shotguns, handguns, knives. But again, in New Game Plus, we have all of our equipment ready from the beginning. So we just go in taxi straight to the club once again. So we have time for a few more donations.
Can do, like this $25 donation from Kalo Unit saying, something Mad Dog of Dojima, Dragon of Shimano. Yeah, probably. Thank you for your donation. And $50 from Lenny saying, as a doctoral student studying cancer treatment resistance, this marathon directly funds the grants that make research like mine possible. The generosity of this community continues to astound me, and I'm humbled to know that so many care so deeply about this important work. Keep it up, break records, and go fast. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Yes, thank you all for your donations. Okay, coming up here is the Red Gang fight, and this is actually the hardest fight in the entire chapter of all these gangs. This one can kill runs if it goes really poorly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my shotgun and just shoot this guy. No, this fight is very simple, but the next fight is actually very, very risky. We're going to fight these guys, the Akai brothers, and if you've played Kiwami casually, you know that these guys can be a huge, huge pain, and they do so in the speedruns as well. This fight is very dangerous on all categories of Kiwami, and actually also of the original Yakuza. But yeah, what I'm going to do here, we need a lot of damage for these two guys, so I'm going to once again call on the power of anime and hope that I can chart throw both these guys before the buff runs out. Okay, already I don't think this is going to happen. Oh, we got it just in the nick of time. You stop knocking me down, I said. How dare you? How dare you? We're good. Okay, the important thing is that we managed to chart throw both of them in time. If you run out of the buff, which can happen due to a lot of reasons, you have to do a chart throw. You have to do a chart throw followed by a floor heat move. Heat moves take a lot of time in this game. You want to avoid them whenever you can. So that's a big time loss if it happens. And also, the way Kiwami physics work is when an enemy is on stairs, this is one of those games where the combat physics don't quite work if they're on an incline. So you can't grab them. And they have a tendency to walk away from you towards the stairs that are around the dance floor. So you can lose a lot of time to those guys deciding to give you a hard time. Right here, much like in Chapter 5, I'm going to Use the delay between the 2 times we talk to Date to switch a shotgun. Going to need this for the next set piece coming up. And we are done with Chapter 8, going on Chapter 9. One of my favorite chapters because it's just a pure set piece. The whole thing is really, really fun in the speedrun. So, obviously, I want to skip the cutscenes in this game in general, but there's one cutscene I want to show a little bit of, and it's this one coming here. So there's a lot of jokes about Kiryu never killed anyone, given, you know, all the things we do in these games. And a lot of the time, like, the guns and the knife feet moves, you can kind of pass it off as, well, that's player choice. That's something that you decided to do. However, check out Kiryu here. He's going to see this guy pulling out a gun, and his first instinct is to take this completely innocent waiter and just use them as a human shield. And that's canon. You can't say that didn't happen. So indeed, Kiryu never killed anyone. Very good. To start this fight, I'm going to switch to Rush, because Beast is slow, and I'm going to, hopefully not get hit by that guy. You don't want to get hit by swords. That's another tip I have for you. They hurt, they knock you down, they cause a lot of problems. Oh, don't do me like that. Okay, I need to charge through this guy, because he... Oh, I was confused. This is the mini-boss. Okay, very good. And now we can keep shooting. Now, there's going to be a gun guy coming in from upstairs, so I want to be ready and get all those guys with one shot. Very good. And now I'm going to preemptively run up to this man and shard throw him. And pull out... I said pull out. I said pull out my shotgun. All right. All right, we're getting harassed a bit. That's fine. All these people are going to go down very quickly. All right, now I'm going to do specific movement here to take care of the chef coming in from the left. That's a gun chef. He can be a lot of trouble, and it's very hard to hit him if you don't do that very specific movement in there. Coming up with these guys, the first two go down easy, but this guy is a mini-boss, so we need to give him some more attention. And we have some stragglers we need to take care of. All right, we are good, and we are ready for the boss fight with Lao Kalong. And this is another one of those fights, just like with Majima Chapter 5, where we're going to get him to 1 HP very quickly, but he wants to show us all of his moves. And this is where another bit of speed tech comes in. So I'm going to use this hit move to reduce Lao Kalong to 1 HP. And now we want to get him to transition phases quickly. And as you saw, once I did that shoulder bash, his weapon immediately broke. And that transitions him to his next phase. And that's just a very reliable way of making enemies transition to the next phase. This used to be RNG, and you could lose a lot of time to Lao Kalong deciding that he just doesn't want to go to his next phase. But luckily, it is no longer a problem. And now coming up, the shooting section. The shooting section that a lot of people don't like in this game. I can understand why, but honestly, this is way, way better than Yakuza Zero's because we have keyboard and mouse controls on the PC version, which makes it much, much better. Also, if you've played the original Yakuza, you know that there can be nothing worse. Can be nothing worse than the shooting section in that game. PS2 game with the shooting section, it goes about as well as you would expect. But if you're frustrated with this section, there are a few things that can be done to mitigate it. For example, with these bike enemies, you don't actually have to hit the guy in the back. As long as you hit the driver, you are good. And there are a few other things like that we can do to make this a bit more consistent. Now, on easy, we don't take a lot of damage here, so we can ignore a lot of the enemies. However, on legend, enemies actually can do a lot of damage in this section, and specifically rocket enemies, if they hit you, they actually one-shot you. So there is a very specific order you want to hit the enemies in this next part of the shooting section, in the truck section. So I'm going to start with the guy in the middle coming up. And one thing to note about this shooting section is Yakuza kind of bucks traditional shooter design by making it so you don't actually want to headshot enemies. You want to hit as close to the middle of this circle. So it's still kind of a skill check, but it's kind of weird. I'm not really sure why they did it that way, but hey, I'm all for originality in video games. Another thing to note is that I'm running this game on low graphical settings to minimize RTA times. And there's actually a funny little consequence of this here. Say hello to the floating driver. So because of low graphical settings, there's a very low draw distance. So a lot of the time, objects from further away will just become translucent, hence the floating driver. Okay, that was pretty good. That was decent. If you're really good, you can do one cycle on the truck, but it's very, very rare that I get it. My aim is really not that good. That's why I speedrun Yakuza and don't play Overwatch anymore. And okay, we have time for a couple more. Actually, let me introduce the next bit of the story first. So,
Sure thing.
In this part of the story, Reina, who is the bartender at Serena, and our friend Shinji are on the run from Nishiki's people who are hunting them down. Turns out that Reina was a mole for Nishiki all along, and now that she's no longer useful, he has his men take care of her. So we are going to go and help our friends. And the way this happens in this game is very, very strange. So just like in the original Yakuza, there's a very weird trail of blood splatters here that starts in Serena and ends up where our set piece is going to be. And this is a very weird type of bleeding where they just splurt out a whole bunch of blood every half block, which I've never seen that before. That's new. In the original Yakuza, if you know where the set piece is, you can just go straight there and initiate it. However, in Kiwami, unfortunately, we do have to schlep all around Kamurocho, trailing these blood splurts. So Shadow, hit us up with a few more donations.
It's not blood spurts. She's just carrying a big pot of chili, and sometimes she spills it.
That's okay. That's my new headcanon. Very good.
We got $50 from Tajime saying, I know just the thing. Since you're so keen on seeing me right now, I'm going to give you a hand. $50 should help you out, right? Kiryu-chan.
Very good, very good. We still have time for a couple more.
Sure thing. $25 from Funkalismo saying, yeah, Yakuza, back during a donation train at the beginning of this run. And $50 from Majima saying, Cha-chan.
Very good, very good. Two more.
We got $20 from Barachiel saying, yeah, I'm going to need to learn more about airboat percent. I'm very curious about that too, which is our next bonus game, Portal Airboat Percent, which I have kept myself kind of intentionally in the dark on that, and I think a lot of people want to know exactly what's going on with that. We're at $33,000 with the required $80,000 to pick that up, and we have until later this evening to get that going. So please, friends, keep those donations coming in.
Very good, very good. All right, we're starting to set this hot. We are going to shoot a lot of people, as you can imagine. This guy is trying to throw a knife at me. He will fail. And at this point, it becomes really, really important to keep track of your ammo count, because if you try to shoot when you're dry, when you don't have bullets, Kiryu does like this upwards attack with the butt of the shotgun. And that is very slow and opens us up to attacks. So we want to really, really avoid that. So I can actually ignore all these guys. I can just run past, and I'm going to switch shotguns here. Because again, this unequips the shotgun and makes it a bit easier to get past that big guy. The indicator for when you can shoot again is right between where these two guys fell. We can do this room in one shot sometimes. I'm going to try. No promises. Nah. Unfortunate. I didn't... Like, it's a very specific position, angle, and timing. And I just had to... I should have gone further into the room. I started shooting a bit too early. But I have one chance to redeem myself here, because again, this can also be a one-shot. Let's see if we can do it. Nope, no redemption. Unfortunate. Okay. So, coming up here, technically the fastest thing would be to take out your shotgun in this room so you can go at max speed for a bit longer. But anytime I try to do that, I always miss one of those guys when shooting. So I prefer to just take out my shotgun outside. And we're almost done with the interior part of the set piece. Next, we go to the roofs. And here we can also get lucky sometimes and hit both these guys at the same time. Unfortunate. It really depends on their movement, so we can't always get it. Now, these guys coming up here, these handgun users, we can actually just run past them, but we do have to make sure that this guy doesn't shoot us, because again, getting shot hurts. So I'm gonna run past him, take out my shotgun up here, shoot all these guys. Oh, that was a miss, unfortunate. And remember when I told you we're gonna use shot stopper? So one of those situations is coming up. I'm going to try and I missed it. You want to style switch into that cutscene transition, because that saves a bit of the animation, but it's fine. It's not a big time loss. And that was shot stopper. That guy can be technically you could just charge throw him, but he can be very, very evasive. And you move slowly in Beast, so it's just a bit better to do that heat move. Unlike most heat moves that have very long animations, shot stopper is very, very quick. Okay, so I believe I'm full health, so I can actually be greedy here and try to go for a YOLO strat. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, okay. So if I'm full health, then that charge throw on RSA is a one-shot. Sadly, I whiffed the grab, so that gave this dude's time to hit me, so I had to follow up with a heat move. Not a big time loss, but again, it's definitely something we want to avoid if possible. Now, this chapter coming up, story-wise, is a pretty cool chapter. So we need a way to contact our old boss, Kazama.
Okay.
And the way we did this up to this point is through Shinji, but Shinji was killed in the last set piece. And we need a new way to talk to him, and we know that Shinji's girlfriend works at a place called Shangri-La, which you may have heard if you've played Yakuza 7. And we need a membership card to get into that place, and the florist tells us that there's a hostess called Shinmei in this club I'm headed to that can actually hook us up with a membership card. And she asks us in return to give her a fake passport so that she could stay in the country. She's a Chinese immigrant, so she needs us to be able to stay and work and take care of herself and her brother. It's a pretty good little plot point about the plight of immigrants in Japan. Unfortunately, what it translates to in the speedrun is a lot of walking around. So Shadow, please keep those donations coming for a bit.
And we have $5 from Rory saying, I know next to nothing about the Yakuza series, but every year I always make sure to tune in for the Yakuza runs, just because they're so fun to watch. Good luck to the runner, and let's make sure there's no incentive left behind. We also have $50 from Siri saying, this Yakuza run is making me feel like a dragon. And shoutouts to Shadow's awesome hosting. Thank you. Appreciate it. Time for one more?
Yeah, we have time for several more.
Several more. All right. Here we go. Following up from before, an anonymous $25 donation saying, said I would donate again for the great laugh. Congrats on making both the donation goals and have fun with Majima Kiryu-chan. $20 from Captain Cooney saying, need to donate during one of my favorite game series. Also want to see those tiger drops, so I'm putting towards boss incentive.
Nice.
And NYCE Leech with $25 saying, I'm addicted to fighting Kiryu. Majima.
Got time for one more.
Okay, let's see here. We have $200 from Sam S. saying, keep up the great work, y'all.
Nice. Thank you all very much for your generosity. Yes, so I need to menu here. I need to do two things. I need to make sure that I'm in Climax Heat. I haven't actually talked about Climax Heat. We might touch on that later. And I also need a new shotgun. Just giving you a heads up that this fight coming up is one of those fights where you could get a bright flash at the end. So if you're sensitive to that sort of thing, please look away until the end of the fight. So I'm going to grab this man, use another heat swing. We may actually get the flash. There's a very good chance. And after this, I'm going to immediately shoot these two guys. Oh, there it is. Very good, very good. So I actually haven't talked about this yet, but you may notice that in the heat bar, the bar under Kiryu's health bar, there's actually two parts of it. One's blue and the other is red. The red part is called Climax Heat. And in Climax Heat, we have more heat moves we can use. For example, the heat swing requires us to be in Climax Heat. That's why I made sure to top off my heat before that fight. And also, heat moves just do more damage when we're in Climax Heat. Specifically, at the upgrade level we are at, they do 50% more damage. So a few strats in this run, quite a few rely on us being in Climax Heat. Okay, and we have time for 3 more donations.
Okay, I actually do have a question. When it comes to New Game Plus, by the way, for this run, is there a file that's shared amongst runners, or does everyone kind of set up their own New Game Plus in their own way?
So I just prefer to set up my my New Game Plus files myself, but I'm happy to provide my file to anyone who wants to run this category. Like, it's not an issue.
Good to know. Let's see here. We have $50 from Half Zero Tempo saying, for my family and everyone else affected by cancer. Love what you're all doing. Go quick.
Okay, one more.
One more. We have Sheodox with $50 saying, GDQ always makes my week better. So energizing being around all this positivity. Thank you for your donation.
Yes, thank you all very much. Okay, so at this point, we come back to Shinmei with the fake passport that we got from the last section. And she actually confesses that she doesn't have a Shangri-La membership card to give us. Kiryu, being a good guy, lets her have the fake passport anyway. And in return, she points us to an old acquaintance of hers who can apparently hook us up with a membership card. So on any percent, because we have money issues, we can talk him down to 300,000 yen. But this is New Game Plus. We have as much money as we want. So it is slightly quicker to just pick the top option and just give him the full 500,000 yen that he asks for initially. And one thing that I haven't mentioned yet about dialogue menus in this game, whenever you have a dialogue option, you can save half a second by holding D-pad up to make the cursor, or D-pad down to make the cursor appear slightly faster. It's even faster if you need to pick the top or the bottom dialogue option. And of course, this is a very small time save, but it does build up to quite a few seconds over the course of the run, which especially on New Game Plus is actually pretty important. Coming up in this next section is one of the more baffling sections of Yakuza Kiwami. So in the original Yakuza, Majima actually only appears twice as a boss, in Chapter 5 and Chapter 11. And he gets stabbed at the end of Chapter 5, and when we see him in Chapter 11, he says something about leaving him to die at the batting cages. Now, in this game, obviously, because of the Majima Everywhere system, they couldn't really make Majima not appear in the majority of the game. So they needed some reason for him to be mad at us when we meet him later in this chapter. So they added this very strange peer fight. Now, I am glad they did this, because this is actually one of my favorite fights in the game, and in New Game Plus specifically, this strat is really, really cool, in my opinion. So it's going to start fairly standard. We are going to just shoot everyone with a shotgun, as we have come to expect. And hopefully I can get these guys in one shot. No, we still have some stragglers. Okay. So now I'm going to switch to Dragon. I'm going to use a charge attack, and I'm going to use Shot Stopper on this man. And that is the end of that. I really, really like this strat. Again, we benefit a lot from how quick Shot Stopper's animation is. And just the fact that that mini boss has a gun ends up working against him. So, but yeah, Majima gets shot here, and instead of just pulling him out of the water, Kiryu basically says, Majima got shot. Anyway, I should go back to Karaoke, which... What? Like, well, Kiryu would never do that. But again, they just needed an excuse for Majima to be mad at us. So there you go. Yeah, at this point, we have the membership card, and we've taken care of making Majima mad at us. So we can just go ahead and take Haruka down to Shangri-La. Shadow, are there any more donations to read?
Are they? Couple. Sure thing. We have $50 from Tired Father saying, what does Chell need an airboat for? That's precisely what we're going to find out. If we can get ourselves to $80,000 for the bonus game here, coming up in a couple of hours. Keep on getting those donations in, friends. We're almost halfway there to 80K. Let's see if we can get it done. We also have $100 from Billy7411. Thank you very much for your donation. And Henry Kiff with $50 saying, here's looking at a bright 2023 for GDQ.
I jumped the gun a bit with that movement. We do not, in fact, want to be running away from Shangri-La. Yeah, so Shangri-La here, this is probably when I was first learning how to speedrun this game. In terms of just movement and where to go, this is probably one of the more confusing parts. Because there's no real objective markers, you kind of just need to figure out yourself where it's optimal to go on the map. I can get something cool to happen here. Let's see if I got it. No, I didn't. So if you brush up against Haruka at the beginning of this floor, she actually sometimes stays right next to those stairs. And the camera, when it pans over to her, it just pans all the way back. And it's really funny. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, but it's all good. So here we have the Shangri-La set piece. And the only people we need to deal with here are the sofa guys. I also need to make sure not to get hit by these guys. Also, this guy behind me is... Oh, no. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. Oh, go away, go away, go away. Okay. Whew. So, yeah, if you get hit by an oil can like that, you can just fall down. You can do something about it, but it's generally mostly luck if it hits you. So that was a bit unfortunate. Luckily, we recovered from it pretty quickly. That can go a lot worse, actually. You can get stuck in there for a lot more time. And here's our last encounter with Majima for the run itself. I want to take care of this guy quickly, so I'm once again calling on the power of anime. And I'm going to charge through this man, do a floor heat move. Once again, I want to quickly phase transition him into this QTE. I'm going to wiggle the stick a bit because Kiwami has a funny tendency to switch to keyboard controls in this part for some reason. And I'm going to do something suboptimal here, but it's just kind of funny. You can just hit that rocket Majima and finish him off that way. Again, slower than just using a shotgun, but pretty entertaining in my opinion. Okay, and now we are headed to chapter 12, a chapter that's really, I think you skip like 15 cutscenes over the course of that chapter, and there's a big sequence of them coming up first. I still haven't gotten to talk about cutscene skips in this game, so I might as well do it now. So, the way cutscene skips work in the early games in the Yakuza series, basically you would just have to set a menu option to allow you to skip cutscenes, and then you could just hold start and skip them that way. It was very, very convenient. However, in this game, there's a whole song and dance you need to do. You actually need to open up a prompt that asks you if you're sure you want to skip a cutscene, and then you need to hit confirm again. So to skip cutscenes, I hold left D-pad with my thumb, and I alternate mash start and confirm. So my fingers are quite unhappy about this, but you do need to do this to be optimal. All right, so like I said, the rest of this chapter is fairly short. This fight right here, we want to basically concentrate everyone in the back of the boat. So we're going to just whittle everyone down by shooting from a neutral position, then shoot back once. I'm going to, again, to get optimal run speed, equip a new shotgun. Shoot this man, don't hit me. Shoot these stragglers. And now I'm going to shoot, well, never mind. I was going to shoot him to stagger him, but he staggered himself. That's good. And a charge throw finishes this fight. Now for a second and final encounter with Shimano. So Shimano has a lot more HP in this fight, but he also has a lot more goons. So this could end very, very quickly. I do need to draw Shimano out a bit. Oh, can we get it? Can we get, oh no, someone hit me at the very last moment. That's really unfortunate. Okay. Well, we're going to have to deal with Shimano using the knife here. So I'm going to just equip this and heat move Shimano, and that'll be the end of that. So if you're full health, if you manage to not get hit by anyone, the charge throw will one-shot Shimano. As a backup, you can use a heat move, but I got knocked down just as the heat move timing came up, so yeah, that was kind of slow. That was unfortunate. But okay, already we are in the finale. And things are going to get very, very spicy from now on. So let's get one more donation before the set piece begins.
And we have $5.60 from Pinecone, saying 5 for the go, 6 for the row. Here's $5.60 for our boy, Goro Majima.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Pine. All right, so right here, Yuya and the other hosts gave basically gathered 300,000 yen for us to use for the finale. Thank you, Yuya, but this is New Game Plus. I'm all good on money, so I'm just going to talk to Kazuki over here and initiate the set piece. So right out the gate, we're going to... Basically, these are 4 fights that have a pretty similar setup. A fairly weak mini-boss with a bunch of regular goons. However, the actual positioning for each fight is going to be slightly different. But I'm going to do slightly different things. So for these guys, I just go in the back, switch to rush, shoot them all, and then charge for the main guy. Now this is where I'm going to get greedy and try to use a tiger drop. It probably won't work, but let's see. Oh! The game cheated me out of that tiger drop. I'm sorry, video game. That is not cool. I did the tiger drop, but it just didn't do damage. Well, that's a new one. Again, never seen that one before. Pull out your bingo cards once again. That's fine, though. That's fine. Just a charge throw is all we need to take care of that guy. Okay, so for this fight, I'm actually going to do something a bit different. I'm going to use the heat swing because the mini-boss in this fight is very evasive and very aggressive. So we want to get him out of the way as soon as possible with the heat swing. And now I'm just going to take care of this gun guy. And I'm just looking at the minimap. The minimap is really, really useful in this run because you can just at a glance tell where the enemies are. So I use it a lot, especially in New Game Plus because there's so much shotgun usage in this category. And we are headed to the final set piece. So we have time for one more donation before the action begins.
All right. We got $15 from Adam the Feverish saying, let's meet that Portal bonus game incentive, which it is right now at $33,700. We're on our way towards that $80,000 goal. Keep on donating, friends.
Nice. Very, very good. Okay, so right off the bat, you want to move a bit to the left here, otherwise you'll miss the guy behind the pillar. Shoot these guys, and now I'm going to switch to rush, and rush upstairs. Pull out my shotgun right before the transition, and start shooting these dudes, like so. These guys sometimes, Kiwami has a weird bug here where sometimes these guys will just hang back and not aggro. It's kind of awkward when it happens, but it's not too bad. So again, I'm going to heal here, actually. When did I pick up that healing item? I have no idea. Anyway, I'm going to shoot this guy, again, not for damage, because bosses don't really care about gun damage. I'm going to stagger him, because he's very, very quick. So the shooting actually makes it much easier to grab him. Now I'm going to rush forward a bit, shoot all these guys, shoot this guy, and we are headed downstairs for the last fight of this part of the set piece. One shot all these dudes. Hopefully this guy doesn't hit me. Oh, he hit me. All right. Oh, that was still... Huh. Must have taken more damage than usual from the shotgun. Yeah, usually that doesn't one-shot him if you're not full health. Oh well. Okay, so we are about to end. We are about to hit the very final part of the game. This is the last set piece. It's going to be to end with 2 really cool boss fights coming up. But first of all, we have to take care of these guys. And there's a very specific timing for when I want to shoot them. It's when the mini-boss starts his attack animation. Nice. That takes care of everyone. And now I can just charge through this man. And we are good. Now, sadly, I forgot to keep track of my ammo count. This might be a problem. So I'm going to do a quick style change here. Wait right here for these guys to drop down, then shoot. Oh, okay, we're good in ammo. Try to shoot these guys using as few rounds as I can. 9 rounds, that should be enough. That should be enough for the rest of the game. But we can switch shotguns if we want. Ammo isn't really a concern on New Game Plus. It's just I want to minimize the amount of menus I need to do. All right, everybody line up, please. These guys can get kind of cheeky. Okay, they didn't hit me. Very good. And almost completely dry. We had 1 bullet spare at the end of that. Very good. And we are headed to the penultimate boss fight. So I'm going to heal here. And Kiwami is kind of a jerk here. And sometimes you take damage and you're not full health and you don't actually see it. But I do remember that we got hit, so I do need to heal up. Because I do need the full health damage buff here. So right away I'm going to switch to Beast and I'm going to heat swing these guys. Just think, if Jingu didn't get 2 bodyguards, we would actually have a much harder time against him here. Like the fact that he actually has 2 guys is what enables us to use the heat swing. And I just want to make sure that the next heat swing takes Jingu out. So I'm going to wait for these guys to get up. And for those who played this game casually, how annoyed were you when these guys got up for the first time? I know I was.
It destroyed me internally.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, grab this man and throw him this way, and we are done. And that is how you deal with Jingo in New Game Plus. And any percent strat is actually very, very similar as well. But on Legend, that fight is brutal. But that is a story for another day. We are here at the very last fight of the game, Nishiki. This man is... This actually happens a lot in Yakuza games where the penultimate boss is actually the real big challenge. This guy is actually pretty easy to duel with in the speedrun. And I will show you how. So first of all, I'm going to grab this man and I'm going to headbutt him because I don't respect him. And I'm going to use a Goemon heat move. Again, you don't need a charge throw to get the heat move damage buff. Any charge attack does the trick. And that one is just a bit faster to use. Oh, I didn't even need the shoulder bash for the phase transition. Very good. But I do need it here. And coming up after this cutscene, the camera angle is kind of random, so you need to watch out because if you go the wrong way, Nishiki, you might not shoulder bash Nishiki at the right time, and he gets a big Kiwami region, and we really don't want to see that. Alright, and one final shoulder bash. Okay, the final input of this game is coming up, this QTE, but this is not time yet. Time is when when Kiryu hits Nishiki and his health bar starts disintegrating. I will call it out when it happens, but it's just a few seconds away. But be ready on the clock. And time. And that's Yakuza Kiwami New Game Plus. Now, we have met the super boss's incentives, so excuse me for just doing an Alt F4 out of the game. It's just slightly faster than waiting for all the cutscenes.
Wonderful work there. BigNoNo, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Which of these 2 incentives are we going to aim for first here?
So I'm going to begin with the super bosses because I think that's I think it would be nice to end on Karaoke.
Sounds good to me.
But yeah, so coming up, I'm going to give myself 1 reset on Majima if we don't get the good RNG right away. Because with the good RNG, the fight is just blazing fast. But we'll see how it goes. Alright, so here is Super Majima. And again, this is on Legend difficulty. This is fully leveled up Majima. He's got lots of health. He does lots of damage. He's very, very aggressive. But we can use that aggro against him. And that is via the move that we have already seen in this run called the Tiger Drop. So let's see if he gives me the good RNG. Not so good. Let's try again. Okay, that's one. Give me another. You can actually Tiger Drop those spins as well. Okay. That wasn't that great. Again, I'm gonna give myself just the 1 reset. If we don't get the good pattern again, I'm just gonna, do my backup strat. Because I do have a backup for when things go wrong. Okay. And it's actually important that we start this fight without heat, because the Tiger Drop does less damage the more heat you have. Unfortunately. Okay, I'll just deal with this. All right. I am just missing the timing here. All right. Okay, that's one. That's two. And that spin attack, it's the timing on that for the Tiger Drop is actually kind of difficult. Okay, but we're good. And I'm actually going to heal here just to do max damage. And we are going to use the Kiwami move on him, and he is done. So when this fight goes very clean, you just do 2 Tiger Drops right away, and then he goes into his Kiwami, and you just counter that. Unfortunately, we just didn't get a very good pattern here, but it's fine. It still went by pretty quickly. And now we're coming up on the actual super boss of this run, Joe Amon. So Amon is a traditional serious boss. Usually you unlock him by doing all the sub-stories in the game, all the side quests, essentially. In this game, you need to finish the side quests and also max out Majima everywhere. So we are headed there right now. We're going to get an SMS right here, telling us that the time has come to pick a champion. And right here is Mr. Amon himself. He asks us if we've heard his name. Doesn't really matter what we answer here. And yeah, we initiate the fight here. So the first phase of Amon is going to be basically Tiger Drops galore. So I'm going to move away from him for him to initiate a combo. And I'm going to Tiger Drop like the middle of the combo, like so. And if we're lucky, he just keeps doing this. And we can just keep countering him. Taking some timeouts, unfortunately. There we go. You can Tiger Drop that grab, but you need to be very quick about it. Okay. Ooh, he's actually being somewhat troublesome. All right. Okay. Unfortunate. So I'm going to heal here just for safety. Nice. Okay, we got him. That was kind of shaky, but we got him. So for his second phase, you could Tiger Drop him, but it's way more dangerous. So what we're going to do is we're going to abuse our heat move buff after charge attacks. Now, on Legend difficulty, you have diminishing returns for heat moves. If you try to use the same heat move more than once, you generally start doing a lot less damage. So to mitigate that, we're going to use a whole bunch of heat moves, and it's also a nice opportunity to show you some of the cooler heat moves in this game. This is the Demon Fire Dagger, which we just got from Majima after fighting him. And I'm just going to keep using different weapons. I'm going to use this sword. Oh, I need heat as well. I also like the sword heat move. Coming up next is a heat move you can always use in Dragon. Which is, ooh, there we go. We slap him on into the air, stab him a few more times, and that's that heat move. And now for the finale, you're going to see probably my favorite heat move in the entire series. Definitely in this game. We just take this golf club and pop. And he's done, my friends. And that is Super Bosses.
Didn't seem so bad. How hard could he have been?
Yeah, that first phase was a bit unfortunate, but we got through it in the end.
No, incredible work here. Love to see it.
Thank you. All right, and it is almost time for us to part. By the way, the amount of XP we get from Joamon right there, 89,300 is almost the exact same amount you get in the original Yakuza. In there, you get actually 893. And the reason for that very specific amount is that on a Japanese keyboard, you can read 893 as standing for Yakuza. So that's kind of an inside joke, I guess, that they've used since the beginning of the series. But okay, we will begin karaoke right here. We can begin timing once I load this save. So 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to showcase 2 songs. The first of these songs, Iji Sakura 2000, is actually a remix of a song called Iji Sakura from the original Ishin. Ishin coming up next month. So what better time than now to enjoy this song? So I can't promise a perfect score, but I'll try my best. And of course, the radishes at the end, absolutely brilliant. That was almost really good. I just mixed up X and Y at some point, so we flubbed a few notes. 980, that's still not bad. That's not bad at all. And of course, I would be a villain if I tried to end the karaoke incentive on any other song. Kiwami features my favorite arrangement of Bakamitai, an arrangement for acoustic guitar. So let's enjoy this one as we close out.
I sing for you. バカみたい子供なのね。夢を追って傷ついて嘘が下手なくせに笑えない笑顔を見せた。I love you もろくに言わない口下手でほんまに不器用なのにどうしてさよならは言えたの。ダメだねダメよダメなのよ。あんたが好きで好きすぎてどれだけ強いお酒でも歪まない思い出がバカみたい。
Folks, thank you very much for watching the run. Thank you to GDQ for allowing me to be here. Thanks to Shadow for doing an amazing job. Tech, hosts, everyone who keeps this event going. Anyone who's ever worked on the RGG series, thank you for all the good times. I'd also like to shout out some people from the community. A lot of people who worked on this run from the get-go. Froob, Lilligram, Just Say Kuro, and my good friend Petke Official. Thank you all very much for your work. Dr. Chichops for making the load remover for this game on PC. Very, very important. A few other members who don't run K1, but we love them anyway. Aldred and Pandemonium. If you're interested in learning this run, I recently recorded a long tutorial for the Any% run. And I'm always happy to help anyone who wants to learn to run any of my speed games, any of these Yakuza games. So feel free to contact me. And I will sign off by just saying Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, Palestinian Lives Matter. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
All right, let's give a big round of applause for BigNoNo and Yakuza Kiwami. It was so great to finally hear a little bit more Bakumitai in my life. We got ourselves quite a few runs here left, your friends, but before we do, I've got a $10,000 donation from, once again, the Yeti, saying, hey all, Yeti here. This Yakuza run has me feeling like a bicycle in Kamurocho. Blown away. Keep the amazing speed runs coming. And speaking of which, we got plenty more of that coming up here soon, folks. We will be back after a little bit. Welcome back to more Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 Online, powered by Twitch. My name is Shadow Temple, and I'll be your host for the next run here. We've got ourselves quite a few donations that have been coming in here during all of that fantastic Yakuza run, including $250 from Gabe, saying bonus EXP for the boss rush against cancer. I got a lot of family members in that fight. Also, belated birthday wishes to my friend Sean, who told me about the charity. Everyone say happy belated birthday, Sean. Now, as we are about to get ourselves into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge run, we do have a pretty major bonus game lining up here, and we need your help. We need to raise $80,000 to get this game on the schedule by later this evening, and I would love to have all of your help. Actually, to hear a little bit more about exactly what we're about ourselves gonna get ourselves into here, we actually have the runner themselves right here. So I'm going to let them take it away.
Hello, everyone at AGDQ 2023 online. My name is Adef, and I am joined by the amazing Msushi, who will be, fingers crossed, hopefully running Portal Airboat Percent in just a few hours. Hope you all enjoyed that last run, but let's really get into this. Sushi, how are you?
Well, I've already had a bit over 24 hours of AGDQ 2023 in my bloodstream, so it's been great so far. So hoping the rest of the week goes great.
It's a necessary thing. It really gives us life twice a year, right? The GDQ uplifting spirits, watching the speedruns, it's amazing. So Sushi, we got to get people to donate for this run of Airboat Percent. We're about halfway right now. The total donation incentive for this bonus run is $80,000. We're hovering around the 40K mark right now. So my question for you is, if you could tell us a little bit about Airboat Percent. What is this and how does it differ from a typical Portal speedrun?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm sure a lot of people looked at the schedule or when this bonus game was added and thought, Portal Airboat Percent, and you probably thought at the time you played Portal, the companion cube, Cake is a Lie, GLaDOS. There's no airboats in the game. If anything, you probably remember the airboat is from Half-Life 2. This makes no sense. What is even Airboat Percent? That's not a completion. So Airboat Percent stems back from a huge Portal inside joke. Within the speedrunning community, obviously everyone has their own qualities in their games of, what is cheating? What's allowed? What's this? What's that? Is modding allowed? I don't know. Way back when Portal speedrunning first started to become a big thing, there was this little console command that was left in the game called ch_create airboat. It does what you'd expect. It spawns the airboat from Half-Life 2 in the game. Doesn't really make sense. They share a lot of game files, of course, both made by Valve around the same era. So they share a lot of game files, and the airboat happens to be in the Portal files when it's not used at all in the game. And for some reason, the debug console command to create the airboat is still in the game. And for some reason, it's not protected by the cheat command at all. So, of course, when we do speedruns, it's not allowed. You don't use the airboats because it's Portal, it's not airboat. But for some reason, when the developers went on all these commands in the developer console, that debug command is not protected by cheats. So way back in 2008, 2009, people first started speedrunning Portal, they said, it's not cheating, guys. It's not cheating. You can create an airboat. There are all these cool skips you can do. The biggest one was at the start of the game, there's a vault where you have to wait 50 seconds in, and you don't even have the portal gun. It's pure waiting. But people found out if you put an airboat in the wall of the vault, you can get out of it. And people were like, this is insane. Like, we can save so much time. Obviously, it became a huge inside joke. But I believe later on in 2015, 2016, a runner named Quinn Ace was the first one to actually complete a run of Portal only using airboats, not using any portals. And now it's elevated to more of a well-developed speedrun category that you run. It's completing all of Portal, all the chambers, even the GLaDOS boss fight. No portals. You don't pick up the portal gun. You don't shoot portals. You don't go through portals. The game's called Portal. We see none of it.
No, the game's called Airboat. The game's called Airboat.
Because we only use airboats, and we use a ton of them to beat all of Portal's puzzles.
Amazing. And so obviously you mentioned that there's that puzzle, or rather the waiting section that's skipped at the beginning by putting an airboat in the wall. Is there any other interesting speed tech with the airboats? Is there any nutso stuff that can be done besides just clipping through walls?
So there's two major glitches that we'll look at once we hopefully actually do the run, which is airboat clipping. You can clip through almost any wall, inbounds or out of bounds with airboats. Wow. And there's also airboat boosting, which is by spawning a ton of airboats in one spot. They launch at you, and you can get a huge momentum boost. Obviously, Portal has a ton of momentum puzzles, and it's great to solve them by generating your own momentum by creating an airboat missile. So
I love that this, like, obviously all of speedrunning, right? We have terminology for things. When communities develop around runs, terminology develops. But I love that, like, this little niche meme category is like, well, yeah, I airboat boost and then I airboat clip. That's delightful. So, Sushi, you're pretty competitive in a lot of speedrun categories across Portal 1 and 2. So I'm curious if you would say that airboat percent is like your bread and butter, or is there another category that you think is sort of your claim to fame?
Okay, well, I suppose to flex for myself, I've held the world record in every Portal category, Portal 1 and 2, not at the same time, not currently either. But I'm currently trying to get the Portal 2 world record back. But when I threw my hat in airboat for games done quick, and obviously we want to see here as a bonus run. So I did get the world record for it back about a week or two ago, which is obviously very cool, but it's definitely not something I run all the time. It's funny to throw out once in a while in a random stream. It's kind of like a fan favorite in some senses, but also like kind of brushed to the side. It's not too competitive, but it's super fun always when you get to run it.
Amazing. We're all just gonna jump over the fan related joke with airboats. We don't have to do it. We all thought it and nobody said it, and that's fine. We actually have a question here from Twitter, Sushi, really quickly. So this is from @NerdSquared, and they ask, which chamber differs the most from the non-airboat run?
Oh gosh. Not what you want to hear, but unfortunately, like all of them. I feel like it's really different when, obviously, I feel like the joy of speedrunning is that you learn all these new texts and you can view the game from a completely different angle. But in the scope of this category, when you do the puzzles normally, you have portals. We don't have portals, we have airboats. Obviously, there's some similar stuff where we can almost recreate some speed strats using the airboat tech, but it's nothing like Portal in some regards. You're going to see the chambers, you're going to recognize them. GLaDOS is going to be yapping in your ear, but it's a lot of other crazy stuff that almost uncomparable to the normal speedrun categories.
Well, fantastic. Sushi, thank you so much for joining me. And everybody, please get your donations in. This bonus run of Portal Airboat Percent needs a couple more tens of thousands of dollars to get there, and we have several hours to do it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't rush and get those donations in. I want to see this run so badly. It sounds hilarious and also weirdly awesome. So please get your donations in and stay tuned. There is more speedrunning and more Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online coming up right after this.
Well, you heard them, folks. We have some work to do to get that Portal bonus unlocked. We're currently at $34,626 to make that happen. So let's keep those donations coming in. Like this $100 donation from Mage saying, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell, turtle power. I forgot how the back half of that thing went, but hopefully I did it justice. Thank you for your $100. Speaking of which, of course, friends, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge run coming up here soon. We've got ourselves a race happening, 2v2 co-op. It's going to be great. But let's keep reading some donations here in the meantime, like this $100 donation from Majima saying, hey, you, watching the stream right now, you're breathtaking. The runners, too. Thank you very much. We also received $50 from Joyful Pocket Ninja, saying, had to donate to see if we can get that Portal bonus game. Let's go, chat. We can do it, friends, but we need your help. Keep getting those donations in. Let's see if we can hit that 80K. We also have a $10 donation from Ross Nelson saying, "Cancer, what a bummer, dudes. Like a lot of people, I lost too many people to it over the years. Thankfully, we have radical organizations like the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Let's kick Cancer's butt. Cowabunga. P.S. Donatello is the best turtle." Now, I want to see, friends, chat, donors, etc. Who's the best turtle? You got to let me know. Come on, let's see it. I want to know who the best turtle is. I'm not gonna give you my opinion. I need to hear from all of you. We also have $50 from Nick Benish saying, "Wish I had more time in my life to appreciate so many great games. So watching AGDQ really helps knock some off to my to-do list." Thank you very much. We have $10 from Valjean saying, "Greetings from Poland. TMNT has been a huge part of my life, so I felt obliged to donate during a run of arguably the best TMNT game ever made. The graphics, the controls, the gameplay, the music, goodness gracious, the music. It all combines into a fantastic and bodacious mixture of 80s and 90s radical awesomeness. I hope to see a full TMNT-themed block either during the summer event or next year. Good luck to all the runners, and as Mr. Abraham Lincoln would say, party on, dudes!" Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's period accurate. Let's see here. We got $100 from Leviathan saying, "Thank you for hosting the event every year. It's always a fun time for me and an inspiring time for seeing the amount we raise for charity." Speaking of which, we haven't really talked about why we're doing all this, right? Obviously, it's fun to watch everybody go super fast and things like that. But let's talk for a second about the Prevent Cancer Foundation, the people we're raising all this for, right? The Prevent Cancer Foundation, founded in 1985, is a U.S.-based nonprofit organization. Their mission is to save lives across all populations through cancer prevention and early detection by focusing their work through research, education, outreach, and advocacy. Their vision is to stop cancer before it starts. You can find out more information about PCF at preventcancer.org. We got more donations coming in. More for that Portal bonus, folks. Come on, keep those donations rolling. Like this $50 donation from Roto Monkey saying, "Beat Portal 2 while moving out of my freshman dorm in 2011. Man, I feel old, but such an amazing memory with my roommates. Needless to say, did not use airboats. I need to see this." We also have a $5 donation from Adef saying, "Wise men say, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza." Let's see here. Oh, we have a $50 donation from an Onyx Mouse saying, "I hear Aperture's quite inventive, but their overhead costs are expensive. It would be quite a shame if the next bonus game didn't meet the required incentive." Thank you very much for just a spicy little limerick before we transition our way on into the next game, folks. It sounds like we are just about set and ready to go for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, featuring General Andrews, Das Postman, Ben-Ha, and Paul Knives. All right, folks, let's get it underway. Let's see what we got in store for us today.